Hello again, this is Kevin Moore from Timba.com, back with an introduction to Beyond Salsa Piano Volume 9, the last of 4 books on the game-changing piano innovations of the great Iván Melón González Lewis. The art of live timba performance continued to reach new heights in 1998, 1999, and 2000, but for studio albums, the watershed year was 1997. All of these albums were recorded within the same half-year stretch, and each is one of the best, if not the undisputed best album by the group in question. In Issac Delgado's case, the Havana scene had built to such a fever pitch that he decided to make an album, as its title states, exclusively for Cuba, although it was soon released by his salsa label RMM under the title Rarities as part of the indispensable Forbidden Cuba series. While Exclusivo para Cuba contains several of the most aggressive and creative timba tracks of the era, we begin our study with a decidedly traditional track, Melón's arrangement of Arsenio Rodriguez's Dile a Catalina, using that most common of all Latin chord progressions, 1-4-5-4. Like La Chica del Sol from Volume 8, it gives us a chance to see how timba piano innovations can be used tastefully in a non-timba context. On this next passage, try using your balance control to listen to each of Melón's hands separately. Chapter 3 covers one of Issac's least well-known but most beautiful songs, and one whose title I simply cannot pronounce correctly. It was written by Leonel Limonta and arranged by Joaquin Betancourt. Issac's 1997 album provided the starting point for 3 of the greatest and most powerful live arrangements in Cuban music history, Con la punta de pie, Pa que te salves, and Se te fue la mano. Up to this point, we focused primarily on Tumbaos and muela patterns, but for these 3 tracks, the piano parts for the cuerpos are also included, and we'll see that Melón's and Alain's creativity and controlled improvisation skills are just as impressive during these sections as they are during the Montuno proper. Here are the first 2 of 8 pages covering the truly exquisite Se te fue la mano cuerpo, the gorgeous lyrics and melody written by Issac and the arrangement by Melón. Like Formel's best work, the arrangement builds slowly but relentlessly through a series of hook Tumbaos that escalate in intensity, from this to this, to this, and finally to this. To fully appreciate Chapter 6 on Issac and Alain's breathtaking adaptation of the old standard Con la punta del pie, we'll need to take a brief side trip. It turns out that Timba, about 7 years before they started calling it Timba, was influenced by a certain global Latin pop trend known as salsa romantica or salsa erotica. Salsa romantica was sort of like the Kenny G of Latin music. Everyone loved to talk about how much they hated it, but somebody kept buying the stuff. Now, the Cubans have never been shy about borrowing ideas from outside trends, but try as they might to be derivative, they're never quite able to pull it off without sounding uniquely original and Cuban. What starts out like this ends like this. And what starts out like this ends like this. Meanwhile, up north, the distaste for salsa romantica became so intense that a revolt took hold, salsa dura, replacing the sappy pop song cuerpos with more traditional fare and bringing back the strong Montuno sections that had been overshadowed by the pop aesthetic of the salsa romantica producers. In Cuba, the dura part usually just came later in the same song, but there are also some incredible examples of what I call timba dura, charts that hit the ground running with the full force of a Montuno section and never look back. Of course, Arsenio, or as I call him, the first timbero, had been doing this for years. But that's a story for another video. Here are a few of the timba dura classics. Issac had quite a few of these, including La Sandunguita and La Temática, but the ultimate killer timbadura track was Con la punta del pie.
Baile con la punta del pie, goce con la punta del pie. Oye, prepárate, estrellita, mira que vengo con la punta, muchacha. Baile con la punta del pie. Mira cómo goza con la punta del pie. Con la punta del pie.
Our chapter on Con la Punta covers the cuerpo and a variety of tumbaos. The third major live vehicle to spring from the 1997 album was Alain and Melón's arrangement of another great Issac composition, Paquetes Salves, also known as La Soga. We include the cuerpo and all of the tumbaos, including this one, the most difficult piano tumbao I've encountered. Many of Melón's tumbaos managed to be beautiful without being all that hard to play, but this one required all of his rigorous classical training to pull off. Melón plays the quintessential Timba hook tumbao on La Temática, one of the great live Timba anthems. La Temática was never recorded in the studio, but has the unusual honor of having a great band named after it. Various steamy live versions of the song La Temática have been preserved. I'll never forget transferring the Watrous concert tape from my mailbox to my car stereo and nearly driving off the road when I heard this song.
Caliente, caliente, ¿qué dice? Rumba sabrosa, ahí, como se osa. Oye, como se goza, como lo baila sabrosa. Rumba sabrosa, epa, como se goza. Oye, y mira cómo te hace cosa. Oye, como tu goza, celosa,
Another great Delgado composition that never made it to the studio was La Competencia, or Hit Parade, in which Issac, playing the role of the DJ, would count down the top 7, with the band playing a paraphrase of each, only to arrive at numero cero, or number 0, and segue into Paquetes Salves. When you listen to this, notice that no less than 2 of the 7 tracks are identified and introduced by their piano hook tumbaos, Que Tiene Van Van and Paquetes Salves. Issac later used this same idea of mixing an original composition with paraphrases honoring other artists in his Grammy-nominated La Formula, which might have actually won the Grammys that year had they not been canceled as a result of 9/11. We conclude Volume 9 with Melón's tumbao on Manolin's Me Falta La Habana and his own Movimiento, one of the best uses of a hook tumbao in a jazz composition. Looking ahead, the next 3 volumes of Beyond Salsa Piano are all on Cesar Pupi Pedroso and his work with Los Van Van.